Race 2 of the playoffs is coming this week at Richmond. Short track racing, the last short track race we had was amazing. I'm excited. Hey, what's up guys, it's Sam here. How are you guys doing today? Hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. We're going to be talking about the upcoming race at Richmond this weekend. We're going to Richmond Raceway in Richmond, Virginia for the running of the Federated Auto Parts 400. The short track racing, the last short track we had at Bristol was arguably the best race of the season, in my opinion. I think it was the best race of the season. So much excitement coming to Richmond Raceway, a track that sometimes is exciting, sometimes it's not. I remember the Richmond race in the spring. It was not that exciting for most of the race. I actually slept lap 100 to lap 300, and I didn't really miss much. And then I was awake for the final 100 laps, and that was pretty much all that mattered. Usually this race every year has been pretty boring, or at least ever since the new chase system has started in 2014. It's been pretty boring ever since then. Before then, it was really exciting, in my opinion. There'd be the cut line that everybody would have to be racing for. Even 2012 when Kyle Busch didn't make it, I still thought that was a really good race. Plus, with all the rain that day and everything, it was super exciting. Plus, that's some of my favorite NASCAR memories ever. Even though Kyle Busch missed the cutoff, that race was some of my favorite memories in NASCAR ever. But since 2014, really, this race has just not been that exciting. This race has just been, let's go around for about 400 laps and just get this race over with. Usually coming into this race, it's been, we already know who's going to be in, really. It's kind of like, don't get a first-time winner of the season. But this race is no longer the chase cutoff race. This is now the second race of the playoffs, which I think might make it interesting, but maybe not. Maybe it'll just be another race. Maybe it'll just be a shit show. I'm hoping so. That'd be awesome. But it'll probably just be another normal Richmond race. Daytime Richmond races were alright. 2016 was a pretty good Richmond race. 2015 not so much. 2017 was alright, I guess. But we have two night races this season, and I love night racing, so I'm down. Alright, so we have some news this weekend. First off, in our big news this week, this just came out today, or as I'm filming this just came out today. Steve Phelps has been announced. He's the new president of NASCAR. We had Brent Dewar for about a year. He was put into the NASCAR presidency, placed back in August of last year, and he's been there ever since. And just now they announced that Steve Phelps will be in the NASCAR presidency until, I actually think he's going to be the president for a while. Brent Dewar is going to be within another area of NASCAR until the end of the season, and then I think he'll just go do whatever the hell he wants. In other news, we have Dale Jr. He's running the Xfinity race. Dale Jr. has been out of retirement for the last 10 months. I've been in retirement for the last 10 months since the Homestead race. He will be racing the Xfinity race tomorrow night, or tonight as you guys are watching this. I'm kind of rooting for him. Because it'd just be pretty cool to see him win. That's where he got his last Xfinity win at Richmond back in 2016. That's also been his last NASCAR win, I think. It'd be pretty cool to see him get a win. Also in other news, Kyle Busch said to NBC that he'd be happy to commentate the Richmond race because Dale Jr. was not going to be in the broadcast booth, obviously, because he's going to be racing the Xfinity race, and Kyle Busch will not be. Kyle Busch said that he'd be happy to be the announcer for that race, but NBC Sports declined that, which it sucks. The first time I heard that, I actually thought that NBC Sports came to Kyle Busch asking him that if he would want to do that, and then he said no, but I misunderstood. Kyle Busch actually asked them, and they said no, which is just pretty stupid. I kind of wish I've wanted to see Kyle Busch in the broadcast booth for a long time, and it would have been really cool. All right, now let's get into my three winners.
Number 3.
Brad Keselowski has a really good shot. I mean, he's won the last 3 races, and he won the 2014 race at Richmond. He's ran second place at Richmond a few times. He's done pretty good at Richmond in the past. I think Brad Keselowski has a really good shot at getting a win this Saturday night at Richmond Raceway. Number 2, Joey Logano. Joey Logano, I think, has a really good shot, too. He won the Richmond race last season. Granted, that race was encumbered, and then he won 2014, the Richmond race. So he has 2 Richmond wins. I think he has a really good shot coming back and maybe getting a third one, and his second win of the season. And number 1, Kyle Busch. It's a short track race. He won here earlier in the season. He didn't dominate it, but the fact that he came back from 32nd to win the race was absolutely insane. So I think Kyle Busch has a really good shot at coming back and making some noise and possibly getting that win. Underdoggies. Let's talk about the underdoggies. 3 is Eric Almirola. He got a top 10 in the spring race. I think it'd be pretty cool to see him make some noise. Maybe get another top 10. More secure his spot into the next round of the playoffs because he's pretty secure in right now. But I mean, if he wrecks it out, then he's going to be out. So I'd like to see him get more secure into the next round, even though I predicted that he wouldn't make it into the next round. The other Eric Jones, my number 2 underdoggy. I think that Eric Jones has a really good shot. He finished 12th in the spring race at the short track. He's done really good at the short track, so I think he could get another top 10. He could get a top 10, and he probably, help his case getting back into this playoff. He's 19 points out of the playoffs right now. And Daniel Suarez, I think he has a really good shot at making some noise, maybe getting a top 10. He finished 10th in the spring race. Short track, he's really good at short tracks. A lot of the Gibbs cars are pretty good at short tracks. I think that he can make some noise and get back into the top 10, get a top 10 finish at this race. I mean, it doesn't mean anything because he's not in the playoffs anymore, but, I mean, that battle for 17th in points, you could get that. And the oopsies, Alex Bowman finished 18th in the spring race. It's not going to help him at all. He's currently in the playoffs right now, the round of 12. He is currently in the playoffs, but if he finishes 18th, that's really not going to help his case. Definitely with guys like Eric Jones and Denny Hamlin probably getting top 10. Kevin Harvick, I don't think he's going to have a really good shot. He finished 5th in the spring race. Now that sounds really good. But, I mean, with Kevin Harvick, it's really top 3 or nothing at this point. Kevin Harvick really doesn't get a top 3, then it just really was a wasted weekend for a guy like him. And Ryan Newman, he finished 37th in the spring race. He's not in the playoffs right now, so that doesn't really matter. But, I mean, it looks like it won't be too good for him. Ryan Newman, I think he'll probably finish outside the top 20. I'd be surprised if he finished inside the top 20. Hey, guys, if you guys like this video, please leave a like on it. We have Richmond coming up this weekend. It's going to be pretty cool. If you guys like this video, please leave a like on it. If you dislike this video, please leave a dislike and a hate comment telling me exactly what I did wrong. Be sure to subscribe to notifications. And as always, goodbye, bunny rabbits.